Hello and welcome. This is Steve with Let'sPlan.com. Today we're going to demonstrate a conventional purchase, 5% down, a rate term refi, and a cash back refi. Here we are in our dashboard. Let's start a new meeting. I'm just putting in the description here. You can put, of course, any customer name, address, state, city, state, zip. On the monthly income page, if you wanted to see your back and front ratio to be accurate, you would, of course, put in their income information. If you choose not to, at the very least, put in an accurate credit score so that the PMI is correct. Here we are at the loan scenarios page. Now, we've got three scenarios. We're going to do all three. In the first one, we're going to do a purchase. In the second, we're going to do a rate term refi. And then finally, a cash back refi under scenario 3. As a reminder, this is the loan amount. And now remember, even as purchased, the labeling shows it as down payment or equity to represent a refinance. This is down payment or equity percentage, equity being if it's a refinance, etc. Here we have the monthly payment. That monthly payment will automatically calculate for us, and we can also override the taxes as we go through. And then finally, fees and costs. These will all be populated from the fees and costs section. If it's a refinance, this is where you would make adjustments to, this is the purchase, but if it's a refinance, you would adjust maybe the amount of fees that you have that may not be relevant to a refinance, whether it's rate term or cash back, or even the prepaids. You can also adjust these to 0. So let's go ahead and start. Let's do a $500,000 purchase. Here's a customer who bought a home for $500,000 with, let's say, 10% down. Conventional loan. At the time, 2020, maybe purchase in 2020. Their total payment was $3,751. Interest rate was 7.5%. There's our principal and interest payment. There's our taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance. This mortgage insurance factor, 79, is based off of the down payment of 10, as well as the credit score that I put in the previous page of 780. There's our closing costs and prepaids, total cash at closing, which includes the down payment plus the closing costs. There's your cash at closing, $61,097. Now, here we have a purchase. That's a purchase scenario. You can, of course, can change that to 5%, any percent you want. You could keep all of these purchase if you'd like, but you have the ability to toggle this term. You can click on the word purchase and make it refinance. Now, in this instance, I'm going to change it to refinance, and I'd like you to see what happens when I do. The word payoff appears, and a 0 appears for a payoff. Same thing for this scenario 3. So these two now will be refinances versus the scenario 1 that was a purchase. Now, in this example, let's assume that this value of home has gone up. It's now $700,000 for this customer in both instances. And also assume 6% interest rate for both scenarios. Now, because the home price has grown in value, the taxes have also increased. You can always, again, input a new value. Let's say it's 700, as that might be from the current county tax records. Now, the customer says that they have a $400,000 loan amount. They paid down their loan amount. So we would put in the equity amount representing the difference from the $700,000 of value to the $300,000 to get to the loan amount of $400,000. Now, if you notice, this $400,000, since there's no payoff, is being combined with these closing costs to show us a credit. That's the parentheses here showing a credit, money back. Well, there's a payoff. This is a rate term. We're going to put the $400,000 in, and now all that shows is the combined down closing costs and prepaids, the $12,042. Now, of course, the customer can bring in a check for that, or you might decide to roll that in. What I tend to do, it's a little trick here, is you take $300,000 of equity. I want to roll it in this case. And instead of just taking the $12,000, I'm going to round up to 13. Just round up to the nearest $1,000. So now I'm going to change. I'm going to decrease our down payment, our equity, because we're giving up some of it for the closing costs, to $287. And I'm $926 in credit back. So now that I've seen this number, I'm going to change this to $926. And I'm within a relevant range. I'm within $2 of accurate. In some instances, you'll hit it right out of the gate. But to give you an idea of how to balance this number, typically you want to get that to 0, so we could start to toggle this number here, this 6, to increase it by $2 more to get to that zero. But this represents a rate term refi where now the customer has a better payment and in this example, also have avoided the mortgage insurance number. Our PMI is now gone. Now let's go to the cashback refi. Here we have the same instance, customer $300,000. Only in this example, the customer who has a $400,000 of equity wants to have, this is the payoff, $400,000. So we're back to these normal closing costs as we did in the scenario 2. But now the customer wants the money back. Oh, how much money do they want? Let's say it's $100,000. So we're going to bring it to $200,000. And in this example, we have a $200,000 property, and we still have closing costs of $12,508. The customer really wanted that $100,000 number. So we're going to subtract that, the $12,508. We're going to round that to 13, let's say. So rounding up to make it easier to go the other way. So we've got 100. Now we're going to change this to $187,000. And we see that we are $460 over. So I'm going to take 187 plus 460. And we're within $1. So we've just demonstrated a purchase, conventional, under scenario 1. We've demonstrated now a cash out, a rate term refi rather, several years later where the equity rose from $500,000 to $700,000. And we remembered to toggle the purchase just by clicking on this and choosing refinance, which activated this payoff loan amount, put in the payoff. We balanced off the down payment. We decreased it to bring us to where the equity covers the closing costs. So now we have no money out from the customer. They don't have to bring in a check unless they wanted to. And then finally a cash out refinance where the customer wanted $100,000 in their pocket. This, of course, can be done with FHA, VA, any loan program. But this is a demonstration of how that will work. Please remember, always go to the customer information page. End your meeting to save it. Change it in any way you would like. And once you save and end, it goes into your library. And here we have it ready to send to the customer. Hope this was helpful. Please reach out with any questions. Thank you so much for using Let's Plan.